Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube, and we have breaking news to discover and discuss on this particular channel. Now, for those of you unaware, there have been a lot of acquisitions in the world of grading companies, auction houses, and the like. It's almost like we're going back to the 1980s, the 1990s in the overall antiques and collectibles trade, where certain wealthy individuals, wealthy companies, even Wall Street was getting in on the act and starting to buy up a lot of these investment companies, or what they thought were investment companies in the overall antiques and collectibles trade. Which reminds me, if you guys want to read an excellent book on the comic book speculative bubble of the 1990s, go read the book Comic Wars. You should be able to get that book very cheaply. That would be a good book that talks about the business history of Marvel Comics, how Marvel Comics almost went bankrupt. I know you wouldn't know it in the year 2021 with all these flashy movies, television shows, Disney owning the brand, people paying tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, for a lot of these key issue vintage comic books. But back in the early 2000s, Marvel Comics almost went bankrupt. So if you want to learn about that, read the book Comic Wars. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we do talk a little bit on this channel about sports cards, baseball cards, and the like. If you do want to read a book about baseball cards and how they almost went bust in the late 1980s, the junk wax era, read the book Mint Condition. So there's two book recommendations I just gave you guys, because you guys sometimes accuse me of stopping on doing videos where I recommend certain books that you should be reading in the overall antiques and collectibles trade. Those two books look at the business side of the trade. I want to make that very clear. They're not talking about speculation. They're talking about how businesses adjusted to the amount of speculation that was happening as a result of their business practices to scoop up consumer dollars by selling them this idea that a lot of these particular collectibles, pop culture, mass-produced collectibles, could be sold and held as serious investments. Now, what does this have to do with what we're talking about today, now that I wasted 2 minutes on that particular subject? Well, guess what? We have another company that's buying up a grading firm. Diamond Comics is buying the Collectible Grading Authority. Now, if you do not know who the Collectible Grading Authority is, you would be forgiven, because we have alphabet soup with all of these companies' acronyms. Down in Sarasota, Florida, we have the Certified Collectibles Group that owns such companies as NGC, which grades coins, CGC, which grades comic books, trading cards, magazines, lobby cards, and other properties, and also PMG, which grades currency, paper money. Now, opposite the Certified Collectible Group, out of Norcross, Georgia, you have the Collectible Grading Authority. If the name doesn't ring a bell, have you ever heard of AFA, Action Figure Authority? Have you ever heard of Video Game Authority? Those are companies that are owned and operated by the Collectible Grading Authority. So I am going to read this quick press release. This was done by Bleeding Cool. I want to give them credit for putting out this article. I am going to put a link in the comments below, the author of this piece, just so everybody's aware, because I am a columnist in the antiques and collectibles trade. So if you do ever do a video on any of my articles, I would expect you to give me full credit. The author of this particular piece for Bleeding Cool is Rich Johnston. So I'm going to read you what he wrote, and then we're going to discuss this a little bit. Diamond Comic Distributors has just acquired ownership of the Atlanta-based Norcross, Georgia, Atlanta, same difference. Look it up on a map. Collectible Grading Authority, an industry leader in action figure and video game grading. Steve Geppi, founder and CEO of Diamond and parent company Geppi Family Enterprises, told retailers today that the acquisition further supports our mission to be the leading source for pop culture products and services worldwide. It is also a testament to the strength and stability of our industry and the faith J.P. Morgan Chase has in our companies and the markets they serve. I am incredibly proud to have Collectible Grading Authority as part of the Geppi Family Enterprises portfolio, and I look forward to the opportunities ahead. The Collectible Grading Authority is the operator of the grading brands Action Figure Authority, Video Game Authority, as well as Die-Cast Authority and Collectible Doll Authority. The CGA, Collectible Grading Authority, will join Diamond as part of Geppi Family Enterprises, a network of pop culture companies owned by Steve Geppi. Now, this last part is important, guys. GFE, Geppi Family Enterprises, includes Diamond Comic Distributors, Diamond UK, Diamond Book Distributors, Alliance Game Distributors, Diamond Select Toys, Gemstone Publishing, E. Gerber, and Hakes Auctions, amongst others. I am focused on expanding our product and service offerings to cement our position as the center of all things pop culture. Steve Geppi. We've all been reading about the explosive growth in collectible grading, so getting into that business was a logical next step for us. As the undisputed leader in action figure and video game grading, Collectible Grading Authority is the perfect addition to our portfolio. I am thrilled to have CGA join Geppi Family Enterprises. CGA has operated for over 20 years in collectible grading and preservation with an extensive customer base with more than 10,000 collectors, investors, dealers, auction firms, and toy makers on its books and having graded close to 500,000 items. CGA's high-quality acrylic cases aim to offer tamper-proof protection and an attractive display. Founded in Atlanta in the year 2000, CGA began by offering action figure grading, AFA, and quickly evolved into the leading grading service of action figures before expanding into video game grading in 2008. Our focus has always been on providing accurate grading services accompanied by the highest quality acrylic cases in the industry, said Chad Thompson, CEO of Collectible Grading Authority. We're not only excited to partner with Steve Geppi and the Geppi Family Enterprises portfolio of brands, we're also eager to accelerate our growth and take CGA to the next level as a result of our new partnership. This is just the beginning of exciting new times as we look forward to continuing to serve our collecting communities for many years to come. CGA will maintain their Atlanta, Georgia-based operations. So let's discuss this. You guys know I have been very, very hard on companies that own a grading company as well as an auction house. If you guys recall, I did do a video on PSA owning Wada Games, now owning Golden Auctions. This is really kind of no different because I got to be fair here, guys. This company, Geppi, now owns a grading company and they also own Hakes Auctions. Now, to be fair, I want to be fair here. If you look through the past, you're going to see that one thing that I respect about both AFA and VGA, which would mean their parent company as well, Collectible Grading Authority, is they do not get involved in the secondary market. They have never manipulated the secondary market to my knowledge. And I want to keep that very clear, very clean, very precise, to my knowledge. They did not get involved with appraising the items they grade. They did not get involved and make an appearance on Pawn Stars or some of these other reality shows stating that their items are worth X in the overall marketplace. So I want to give credit where credit is due. Up until this point, the advent of AFA, the advent of VGA has been, in my opinion, more ethical than some of the more up-and-coming grading companies that did get involved in allegedly manipulating the market and also getting involved in the secondary market for the items they grade as well. So let's put this in perspective, guys. Let's be realistic. How many years has AFA, Action Figure Authority, been in existence? Just to show you how insane the market for graded video games is that are graded in vintage at present time. Action Figure Authority has been in existence literally for decades. We're not seeing vintage Star Wars figures selling for $300, $400, $500,000 at present time. It's just not happening. Could you imagine if AFA would have allegedly done what supposedly Wada Games and some of these other companies allegedly did in regards to market manipulation? Do you have any idea how much your average 12-back near mint plus Star Wars figure would be selling for on the open market? And I'm not trying to give anybody ideas with that statement. I'm just stating that's how you know, guys, that a lot of these markets are, in fact, being manipulated. It's very obvious. You know, people want to come at me. They want to argue cultural relevance. Well, there's a prime example of cultural relevance. How come vintage 12-back Star Wars figures in near mint condition, carded and graded at present time, aren't selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but yet we have vintage video games that are selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars? If you can't compare and contrast those markets, Star Wars is just as popular as Nintendo. Star Wars is just as culturally relevant as Nintendo. The reason why those particular items, toys, play sets are not selling for unbelievable premiums right now in the secondary market is because the grading company did not get involved and attempt to allegedly manipulate that market. And that's what you guys need to understand, how all this works. Right now, I'm being, I don't want to say attacked, but I'm being criticized by certain Pokemon collectors out there because I'm not recognizing the value of the Pokemon franchise. Oh my gosh, let me take a step back. Guess what? Cultural relevance does not matter. You know what does matter, though? When a grading company buys another company and they already own a auction company. This should be a conflict of interest. And I don't care if we're talking about the PSA holding company known as Collectors Universe, or we're talking even here about Steve Geppi, who now owns a grading company and an auction company. Ethics and transparency are extremely important in the overall antiques and collectibles trade. There's gonna be more videos on this. Now, the one thing that I will tell you, the one thing that is gonna be good that comes out of this is I can assure you that due to this cash infusion, the Collectible Grading Authority is going to have a lot of cash on hand to be able to put in a lot of those enhancements where they're going to ramp up their website, they're going to probably do online submissions, and they're also going to release population reports for a lot of the items they grade. Whether it's video games, whether it's toys, whatever it is, we're finally going to get to see online real-time population reports, which is what we need, guys. So I hope this video served you well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.